We've all seen it. A theological disagreement breaks out online and quickly turns into a brawl. Harsh words, assumed motives, gotcha quotes. The truth gets buried under tribal loyalty and snarky one-liners. The internet doesn't need more of that. What it needs, especially from Christians, is charitable writing. Or in most of our cases, charitable posting. In this video, I want to lay out the difference between what I'll call polemic writing and its better alternative, charitable writing. Polemic writing sees yourself as part of one tribe, and the other person you disagree with as a threat from a rival tribe.
You're not one of us.
The instinct isn't to listen and understand, but to respond forcefully and discredit them.
And don't you listen to him.
Accuracy and nuance become secondary. The priority is defending your position and weakening theirs. This kind of writing may involve misrepresenting what someone is actually saying.
That's not what I meant.
Selectively quoting, ignoring context, or leaving out key details.
Did you not read the whole letter?
It may also assume bad motives or suggest someone is being dishonest.
I think you're a liar.
Even when a misunderstanding or unintentional mistake is a valid explanation for why they got something wrong.
I made a mistake.
At its core, polemic writing lacks love.
You don't care about me.
Matthew 7:12 says, "So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them." One of the most basic things we all want is to be taken at our word
Please believe me.
and understood according to what we actually mean.
You are misunderstanding me.
Polemic writing refuses to extend that courtesy. Let's say you're a Baptist engaging with a Paedo-Baptist or vice versa. In polemic writing, your primary identity is with your tribe. The other person's position is seen as a threat to your beliefs, so your response is shaped by a desire to shut down their argument, discredit their view, and keep others from being persuaded. The focus becomes protecting your team, not understanding their position or treating them like you're both on the same team, the Christian team. In the Nicene Creed, we proclaim belief in the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, meaning all Christians are together on the same team as part of the one universal church. Jesus prayed for his church in the Gospel of John that they may all be one. And the New Testament uses familial language of brother and sister for one another to underscore our oneness as part of the same family. But polemical writing instead focuses on how we're divided, Credo-Baptists versus Paedo-Baptists, and therefore speaks in a way that emphasizes these differences rather than how we're united. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Polemic writing often does the latter. It escalates rather than de-escalates.
Well, you're a moron, which stands for moron.
It meets disagreement with force instead of patience. In summary, the polemic writer prizes the tribe and winning the argument above all. The aim is not to first understand and then respond with charity, but to silence the threat. Charitable writing, on the other hand, begins with a desire to understand. If you can restate someone's argument in a way that when they hear it, they would say, "Yes, that's what I believe," then you're doing it right.
Let me see if I understand this.
That is showing that you understand the other person and that you can communicate it back to them in a charitable way. Charitable writers take people at their word.
I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, yes.
When there's more than one possible explanation, they ponder possible reasons for why someone said what they did.
Oh no, I'm sure he didn't mean it like that.
And choose to believe the best case scenario. They work to separate the idea from the person. A charitable writer may call an idea false or even heretical, but they do so without dehumanizing the person.
My friend, you speak heresy.
One way to test whether you've made that separation is this. If the person changed their mind tomorrow and took your side, would you heap praise on them? Or would you just look for the next thing to attack them for? Charitable writers avoid logical fallacies because fallacies distort and misrepresent.
Why do you hate kids?
They don't stoop to name calling or personal insults.
Silence, village idiot.
That doesn't mean that they're soft. They still will say things like "this is false teaching" when appropriate, but they don't speak with contempt. They quote accurately, even if the fuller quote undercuts their point. They acknowledge nuance and possible counterexamples. And when there's more than one way to interpret something, they use qualified language. Phrases like "it seems" or "some might argue," rather than declaring certainty where it may not exist. Colossians 4:6 says, "Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person." Charitable writers aim for that. Gracious speech with careful attention to the individual they're engaging. In summary, the charitable writer prizes truth and people above winning the argument. Their goal is not to defeat the other person, but to represent the truth faithfully and treat others as they would want to be treated. Charitable writing isn't about pulling punches. It's about hitting the target without turning your words into weapons. It's about doing what Scripture commands, speaking the truth in love. The tone of your writing reveals whether your aim is to win others or just to win. Truth without charity isn't just unpersuasive, it's unfaithful. If this idea resonates with you and you want to go deeper, I highly recommend the book Charitable Writing by Richard Hughes Gibson and James Edward Beadler. It's written for students and writers, but it applies just as much to anyone who posts on social media or engages in online conversations. The authors remind us that truth and love aren't competing goals. We're called to pursue both in every sentence we write. Thanks so much for watching. If you found it helpful, would you mind clicking like before you leave? And if you want more content like this in your feed, click subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you in the next video.